Okay, I'm going to talk about probability, some of the basics. Okay, so probability, the formula would be the ways to succeed out of the total possibilities. So, for instance, what's the probability of selecting a day in March? Okay, so ways to succeed, March would have 31 days out of your total possible days to pick. Okay? A sample space would be listing all possible outcomes. So I have two spinners here, a red, blue, green, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. List all the outcomes from spinning these two spinners. Okay, so I could possibly have rolled a red 1, a red 2, a red 3, or a red 4. I could have rolled a blue 1, a blue 2, a blue 3, or a blue 4. Or I could have rolled a green 1, a green 2, a green 3, or a green 4. So that is my sample space. Okay, so previous example here, this is the one I did. What's the probability of getting a blue even spin? So the probability of blue even would be here and here. So there's two possible ways to succeed on that out of 12, or 1/6. Okay, so my sample space was that I ended up with 12 possible outcomes. Okay, if you have 7 yellow and 3 red marbles in a bag, what's the probability you get 2 yellows if you draw 2 and you don't replace? So probability of getting a yellow, yellow. So you put your hand in the bag and your chance is 7 out of 10 marbles. Okay, and then you go back. Now there would only be 6 possible ways to succeed out of 9. So your probability is 42 over 90. Okay. If you roll a 6-sided die 3 times, what's the probability that all be 4s? Well, the first 4 would be a 1 out of 6, the second, and the third. So to get all 4s, it'd be a 1 out of 216. What's the probability that you would get no 4s? The first roll would be a 5 out of 6. 5 out of 6 again, and a 5 out of 6. So 125 out of 216. What's the probability of getting at least 1 4? So if you had at least 1 4, the opposite of that would be getting no 4s. So 1 subtract the probability of no 4s. So 1 subtract 125 over 216. So that ends up being 91 out of 216 as a probability. Okay, last example. The probability that Carl passed the test is 40%, that Joe passed the test is 80%. Find the probability that they both passed. So the probability that Carl passed times the probability that Joe passed would be 0.32 or 32%. That they both failed. Well, if Carl failed, that'd be a 0.6 chance, and Joe failing is a 0.2 chance. So 12% chance they both failed. And the probability that Carl or Joe passed. So let's look at what could happen here.
That's not water.
You could have these possibilities. Carl pass, Joe pass, or Carl could pass and Joe could fail. You could have had Carl fail and Joe pass, or Carl fail and Joe fail. Okay, so we could do this in a few different ways. So we did this one already, that they both pass is 0.32. If Carl passes and Joe fails, that's a 0.08. If Carl fails, that's a 0.6. And Joe passes 0.8, that's a 0.48. Carl failing is a 0.6. Joe failing is a 0.2. Okay, so you can look at this that if at least one of them passed, this would include it, this and this. So altogether, that's 88% chance that at least one of them will pass. Or you could take this is the only possibility that doesn't include one of them passing and subtract it from 1.